All right, let's jump into these non-spoilers. Pros and cons, baby. Pros and cons.
I gotta.
That's what I'm still singing.
Oh no, what's going on?
Righteous fury.
Keep it going.
No, but the other reason I think they go into the Vader theme there at the end is because it's in her mind. She's seeing Anakin lead up that was for that quick intro.
Wow.
All right, let's get into some cons first, and then we'll go into the pros, because there's not many cons in my humble opinion. Oh man!
People wondered if you died there.
I think I did.
They're a little worried about you.
died
Need
on
to
you.
breathe.
Well done. He's a Force Ghost now, says Ellie Blair.
Yes. Cons of this episode.
Cons.
I'm gonna lead a little bit here.
Okay.
Still a little slight pacing issue. It's a nitpick. This is a nitpick.
Yeah, no, I've heard people say this.
Nitpick con. Okay. I do still feel like Dave Filoni worms are still. He's still stretching scenes just a little too much. I feel like he could tighten up just a little bit. It's literally just a nitpick though. And the other reason I could even argue against myself on this is if I watched it in theaters, I don't think it would be as bad. You know, in a theater, you're kind of there for the spectacle in a lot of way. Watching it on TV, you still are, but you know, in a theater, there's so much more going on with the audio and everything like that. It's really cool to see. And I wish I could have seen that in theaters. Let us know if you saw that in theaters. I want to know who saw that in theaters.
No, I understand. I understand the pacing issue as I sip on my coffee. Yeah, I didn't get to see it in the theater, but I understand the theater portion would have been, you know, in the theater, you're there, you're undistracted, you're committed, right? And I'm sure that movie, or that, it was only 49 minutes. That's a pretty short movie in the theater.
Very short movie.
So every second that you get is gold on the large screen. You know, I prefer the extended cut of the Lord of the Rings because I want all of the extra pauses and the facial expressions and the
that's based off
transitions.
The book too, so there's so much more to it.
You know, Dave Filoni, as a filmmaker, he's figuring out how to still cut things down to like the necessities to get the point across, right? Because when you are making a movie, otherwise every movie you make is gonna be like 3.5 hours.
Every movie you make. It's a totally different
That's
animal
good.
when you're directing live action versus animated. Animated, you have to be so, I don't know, precise, and it's not as much of a spectacle. It's still a spectacle the way, depending on how you do it, but you're definitely to the story. Live action, you work so hard to get these scenes that it's hard to cut things, and you think everything looks good. So that's just one little nitpick, I think, right there. Another con for me still is, I hate to say it. It got better by the end.
Be careful. Just kidding.
But
Ahsoka's acting.
still the weakest link for me. It's not terrible.
You're talking
in this episode, at least
you can't spoil anything.
I'm not going to spoil it, but at least there was a little bit of a reason for it. At least they kind of explain a reason for it. It's not like terrible, but it's just when it comes to everybody's acting on the show so far, I really feel like her acting still is just not quite there for me. I really like Carson Teva, but
yes,
he's a little cheesy. Okay, but it's a nitpick. I still really like him.
Yeah.
And he feels like a fan.
Yes, he
being
does,
portrayed, which is totally fine, and that's why I still really like him. It's just, again, some of his deliveries are a little
prime example. Yeah, that Ahsoka can be. You could say she is this way for a reason. Like Filoni told her to do this for a reason.
Yeah,
to some degree. And she's almost there, But Carson is a little bit like, just have fun with it, Carson.
Yeah, but he's fun to watch.
He's like, okay.
Pros.
The non-spoilers music. I mean, this is a peak Star Wars in every way, in my opinion, including the music, and maybe leading the way is the music. Kevin Kiner, I say this every week, it's a broken record, but he is not a broken record. He is a fresh record.
He's a fresh record.
And he's bringing in those fresh spins with the music and the instruments that he drops at the right moment and the swells. I'm like, I didn't even think we could get any better. And then it gets better.
Yeah, I completely agree. When we go to a different realm, it's not a technically
go through some scenes.
That was a huge pro for me. Lots of fan service in a lot of ways, but I feel like it was done right, I definitely enjoyed it quite a bit, and it made me want to relive more of those scenes in live action. More, I guess you could say, without spoiling anything. Fighting style, I loved it. I really enjoyed that, and what a great way they depicted it all too, like the way that they went through the scenes. It was amazing. That was definitely a huge pro. Jason in this episode, that kid he's acting well, very well. Some of this younger actor I feel like is out acting Ahsoka in my opinion.
Yeah.
I really have enjoyed his portrayal, and it's exciting for me to see him in this because there's so much more to come, with him. That's why it's exciting. We've already seen all these characters. He's like a new character.
A fresh new character.
And we're getting so much from him. He's with Chop.
Yes.
And it's just, it's amazing.
It brings me back to Rebels.
Yes, exactly.
In the best way.
Yeah.
But also carrying on Rebels in this Ahsoka show. Because we've never seen him in Rebels except for the ending shot. And so now we're getting to know him in Ahsoka.
Well, and the other thing that's so genius about it too is we weren't attached to a voice actor with Jason.
Yeah,
Segula.
that's true.
So we weren't attached to that. So going into this, we know he's there.
Yes.
But now we're actually exploring the character without the baggage in
Right.
some ways. That sounds weird, but like being attached to a totally different voice, like what's kind of I think happening with Ahsoka and some of the other characters.
I think I might have said it last week that overall this is such fresh Star Wars stuff, and I hope it doesn't spoiler, but it blows things up in all of Star Wars.
Yeah,
you said that earlier, so it's pretty exciting. Yeah, I think you said the sky's the limit, or I don't remember, but anyway, it is definitely a lot more interesting now to want to keep watching and see what happens.
Right. And Dave Filoni, he's doing a good job bringing the mythical side of Star Wars back, which is a tricky thing to portray in Star Wars. Something that I feel like only really George Lucas was able to do until now with Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni, I feel like being his apprentice, has done a very good job bringing the mythical side of Star Wars. And that's what you need. That's what Star Wars needs. You have to get kind of weird with it every once in a while. I mean, when you think about Star Wars in some ways, it's weird. And there are moments that are weird in the show, but it's fun and it's wistful, and it kind of takes you away from where we are here on Hoth. Just in our everyday lives.
Right.
And that's what
takes you to a galaxy far, far away.
Exactly. It's those mythical things.
Well, and the Engineer had a good point. Not just the episode, but what's great about the show is that it started out good and it's getting better as it goes, building properly to these epic moments. The consistency is key, and it's winning back Star Wars fans.
Very good point.
That's maybe the best pro, that it is winning back Star Wars fans.
Yes, I do agree.
Are you kidding me?
It's getting people back into it. It's still Star Wars has a long ways to go before we're back to its full glory.
Right.
But even from the beginning, you're saying, like he's saying, I definitely was like not absolutely loving the first episode, but I knew I had to save judgment till the end of the series because knowing Dave Filoni and how he can change your mind. Obviously with Ahsoka starting off, we really did not like Ahsoka.
You're talking about Clone Wars.
Clone Wars. She was quite annoying.
Right.
But then by the end, we're like, everybody loves Ahsoka. I mean, Ahsoka is so many people's favorite character. And that's why it kind of hurts me to say sometimes that she's like the weakest link of the show so far. But that's the acting is not necessarily her character. I think we should probably get into rating this episode so we can get to some spoiler territory.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and rate it. Out of 5 Rebels.
See, I'm just throwing fives. This
fives.
Is absolutely a 5.
5.
This is
from Clone Wars.
This is a 5s from Clone Wars. That good. I love 5s from Clone Wars too.
It's amazing.
I've got to give it a 5. I'm going to actually give this one. I'm going to give this one a 5.5 out of 5. So we're going triple 5s tonight.
Triple 5s tonight.
And that's where we're at. It's that good. And we may even get up to a 6 out of 5. I'm seeing 6s and 7s in the chat out of 5.
Wow.
And I'm saying 5.5 out of 5 because the music hit. The acting was amazing. The story was unbelievable. The scenes we got, the CG was perfect. You kidding me? 5.5.
5.5. All right. What about you, a fact checker?
Yeah. I mean, I guess if we're breaking the scale, I'd go over 5.
Yes.
But it was...
It's over perfect for you guys.
It was good.
Nick's so this was perfect? This is perfect?
I mean, you can nitpick on even the most perfect things, but... It was so there's so many good things.
Yeah.
And I can't wait till you guys talk about it. Spoilers.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I'll stick with 5 out of 5 just because I'm true to the scoring.
Good.
But
Dan's the only one allowed to break the scoring.
Yes, exactly.
Why?
I
don't.
All right, yeah, but for me, I'm gonna say 4.75. So it's next to perfect.
4
for me.
3/4.
I'm still reserving a little bit because I want to see how this finale ties everything up. I do feel like we're gonna have quite a bit in the finale, and I really want to see Thrawn. I feel like seeing Thrawn, and if he's portrayed very well, that might be my 5 out of 5.
Okay, so you're saving the extra quarter for Thrawn.
I'm saving that quarter for Thrawn, baby. I'm saving that quarter for Thrawn. So
if you give it a 5, that's pretty good.
Imperial versus 4.75 Rebels. The Rebels win. Once a rebel, always a rebel. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but that's great. What about you, Vades? What do you rate this episode? Amazing.
I don't know
if you guys could hear him. He's quite. I think for him, it's definitely a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, it's gotta be. Yeah.